Good morning and welcome to the OCR report. This is the fourth race in the SavagePro Series. My name is Miranda Huber and I have with me Miles Keller. Good morning, Miles.
Hey, good morning, Miranda. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. This is going to be a very exciting race. This is stop number 4 in the series. The first 3 races were Georgia, Gainesville, and Maryland. So we are here. Last year in the point series, Ohio was the final event. So it's a little different this year because this year we're about halfway through. For the series, you have to run at least 5 events, and they have 7 options. And the very last one in Florida is a mandatory one. So, Ohio is an interesting venue because it's really unique for Savage. It is similar to OCR World Championship in that it is on a ski resort. So you can see, or we'll see in a minute, they start by going up a very steep hill. So, yeah, if you see that start line there, you're going to just start with a vertical climb, very similar to the OCR World Championship 3K, if you've done that before. And you can see it's just a straight shot. So the first mile or two in the course is very steep, very runnable if you can run on steep things, but not a ton of obstacles. So there's going to be a lot of gaps forming early on. First 2 obstacles are Scornhole and Back Scratcher, and then we move on to some of the more interesting ones. So this course is very back heavy loaded with the obstacles. So, Miles, I'm not sure if you had a chance to review the course map, but do you have any thoughts or anything interesting that you noticed?
Yeah, I did indeed pull it up and was looking at it. You're absolutely right. It looks like the majority of them are on the back at the back portion, and right before the finish, you'll see some obstacles that you don't normally see near the finish. But you notice it in most race series. Then we have some of the same obstacles right there at the front, and then they'll put some of the newer ones at the end because that's where more of the spectators are looking at. But I love your point about how this is very unusual for Savage Race, and it's one of the things I really actually love about Savage Race. Excuse me, Savage Race. As someone who lives in North Texas, where it's flatter, we don't get a chance to train on elevation and do a lot of hill running. So it's one of our weaknesses, and I've always loved Savage Race. That the majority of the races are on flatter terrain. And you're absolutely right, Ohio. This is on a ski course, so they're starting out. That could separate a lot of the people that have a lot of experience running that elevation, running it, running uphill, and that's right out the
Yeah.
get go.
Yeah,
And
you
it looks
mentioned
like
people that are good
also,
at running up hills. We had a last minute registration or a last minute hearing of a sighting from Logan Broadbent. So I haven't seen him do
oh,
any of the series races yet, so I imagine he will do very well on this course specifically. He is a Ohio local, so it's not too surprising that he's there. So I think this is one of his more local races. I think he's done it in the past. I saw him there last year where he did well. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
this is
going to
in
be
his
good stuff.
backyard, so we'll see. Yeah, he's definitely one
Yeah, and
to
here we are.
watch. And
Yeah, right now we're getting a view of that start line. Right now the cart is going straight up this steep incline, and I feel like it really doesn't do it justice when you're riding on a cart because it really is a
yeah,
trek.
that looks like, that looks like that's at least 10 to 15, about
You can see,
15% grade.
yeah, and you can see our one of our rabbits there hiking up the mountain, and that really does it a little more justice. You can see how much he's having to work hard to get up that hill. So yeah, the first couple miles in the course are it's gonna really
Wow.
create some gaps there for different running speeds. If you're not very good at incline, I think it's gonna be very obvious in those first 2 miles. But then in kind of the middle of the course from obstacles number 9 through 15, that is pretty flat and it is super runnable. So I think that that's going to be where we see some of those I know Sean Roberts isn't here, but I think of his type of style where he excels on that flatter terrain, more runnable. And I would have liked to see him run this course. He would have done well. We're also getting a
Yeah,
view
I'd
here
really
of
like
one
to.
of the new obstacles this year called Give and Take. That one is fun to see. Miles, you had something to say about it earlier when we talked about it.
Yeah, yeah. I actually love the name. I think it's the most creative name for any obstacle. What's interesting, you see in a lot of OCR, a lot of the obstacles are kind of plays on words. Or in like say with Tough Mudder, it usually has some sort of sexual innuendo. Some of the obstacle names, and this is just pure creativity, right? Like the give and take is just, and it looks very difficult. If someone has never been on has tried Gibbons, you're in for a surprise. Because I feel like everyone's
Yeah.
gotten anchors away just fine now. You don't ever see anyone failing anchors away like they used to when it first came out, right? But then throwing Gibbons, which is difficult in itself, in the mix, can really throw off a lot of people. Of course,
Yeah,
the people
something
we expect, the people who
sorry, Miles.
expect
Something I think go ahead.
no, you're okay.
We've
I was
got
gonna
a
say the
little
people we
delay.
expect the podium are the ones that are going to. They're not going to have any trouble with it, right? They're going to get right through it.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that mixes up the fifth and back. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, something I have found interesting about Give and Take is on their anchors away obstacle, you can skip a lot of rungs. With Give and Take, you can't skip anything because you have a peg and a ring, and they are not interchangeable. So you can't skip the gibbons because you don't have another ring to use on the next anchor. So I think that was a nice way to kind of force all of the handhelds to be used. So I like that about it. We just had a second
Yeah,
ago, we had a nice view of that rainbow there in the background. I remember last year, this Ohio course, it happens in this early morning time, and they have a lot of those misting machines going. And there were like rainbows all over the place on this course, and that was super cool to see.
really. Oh, that is
Yeah,
cool.
that was
That
nice.
is cool. Yeah, I mean, it's
Let's
absolutely
talk a little
beautiful
bit
views.
more. Yeah. Let's talk about the point scoring, the current series leaders, and then also who's in attendance today. So, for the Savage Race Point Series, the first place finish is awarded 100 points, second place is 99, third place is 98, etc., and it moves down. So, 1 point differential for each race. And then currently you can see the series leaderboard is pulled up. So this is out of 3 races. So Ryan Kempson is at the top with 299. So that means that he has won 2 races and placed second in another race. Joseph Cotto is in second with 291, Sam Osborne, etc. So we've got a lot of names. And then towards the bottom, you see Sean Roberts and Kevin Thompson, and they only have 2 races that they've completed so far. So that's pretty impressive that they're able to show up in the top 10. Now, this is race number 4, but again, you have to do 5 out of 7. So there could be a lot of people right now that aren't showing up in the top 10, but after today or after the next race, they jump up in there because they might not have done 3 or 4 races yet. Or I meant to say 2 or 3. Obviously, this is the 4th one. So the leaderboard is going to be kind of quite variable until we reach, I think, race number 6, because that could be the point where some people don't even get their 4th race until then. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting
Yeah,
to see how it shakes up at the end there.
it's a really great points series. I think it's really cool because you can get onto the leaderboard placing 99th. They give a 99th gets 1 point, right? So you can get on the leaderboard, and it really it kind of pushes people to keep training and placing better and doing better, and it gives you some sort of objective number you can see as you move up the leaderboard. So helping
Yeah.
encourage people get off the couch, keep pushing themselves, work on those work on any kind of deficiencies they may have. I think it's a really cool system, and it's not convoluted either, right? It's very simple. The first 100 people get points. You get first place,
Yeah.
100 points, 99th place, point. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see
So
who we
now,
have racing for. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry, for
we've
the
got the
women.
women pulled up. And Something interesting is we talked about the men. There's quite a few that have only done 1 or 2 races. For the ladies, it's a little bit different. The top 5 ladies that you see on this list, we've got Kris Rugloski, undefeated so far. Alexandra Walker, she really wants to close that gap between Kris. She has been every race. First race, there was a little gap. Second race, it was closer. Third race, she really was right on her tail. So, I like that we're getting closer and closer as the series progresses, as people are getting in better shape, training more, etc., kind of coming out of the off season. So for the guys side, it's kind of hit or miss who's in attendance today. For the ladies, all top 5 are here today. So they all want those points. They're very excited. Um, so I think that for the ladies, it's going to be an extra exciting race because everybody is fighting every race for every point they can get. The guys seem to be kind of pick and choosing which races they attend, which is fine, especially if you've got conflicts and things like that. But obviously, the more races you attend, the more likely you are to do better because they're going to take your top 5 points. So if you do poorly at one race, you can kind of drop that one off, as long as you attend at least 6. So yeah, all of these top
Yeah,
5 ladies are going to be here.
there's a very small gap between Kris and Alexandra Walker. There's only
Yes.
3 points. That's very doable to close. And we, especially as you and me being here in Texas, we love to watch the battle. We watched, you and me for years now have watched Kris Rugloski and Alexandra Walker go back and forth and battle each other.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
They've
the
got
rainbow
a
you're talking
little
about.
hometown rivalry. Yeah. So in addition to those top 5 ladies, we also have Rachel Corigliano was on the registration list. So I'm really excited to see how she shakes up the point series because you have to remember Alex is only 3 points behind, but if Rachel Corigliano beats her in a placement, that's going to put her 1 point behind in the point series. So it's a little interesting how people not doing the series can still impact the series point values.
Yeah, and plus, I'm guessing
All right,
that
let's talk
means there's a
about.
good chance that Air Force 10 will be there.
Yeah, so that was something we kind of talked about. I did not see his name on the registration list, um, but because Rachel's name was on there, I was curious if we would see Ken. So I would expect him to do well. Some other guys we are going to see today is Ian Hosek. He did well in 2 other races. Joseph Cotto, obviously, he's number 2 on the rank right now. We've got Kevin Thompson, obviously Ryan Kempson. We mentioned Logan Broadbent and the twins, Marquez Green and Nathan Green, and they're both doing well. They both have done 1 race in the series so far. And we've got the weather pulled up now. You can see it's a nice 60 degrees. Ideal running temperature. It looks good. The weather looks nice. It's sunny.
Yeah, especially when you're starting the race running directly up the hill. No obstacle right there, just straight up. That's going to separate a bunch of dudes. Notice how the top elite men that we expect to do well, they're all bound together there along that right-hand side. Any kind of predictions you want to make, Miranda?
Yes, I think Ryan Kempson and Logan Broadbent, I expect to go 1 and 2. And then I think we're going to have one of the Green brothers slide into 3rd, probably Marquez. So that's my prediction. What about you?
That's my same exact prediction. You and me think so much alike. I'm hoping it gets mixed up. I'm hoping we're surprised. We'll see what the better battle is on today, whether it be the men or the women. Sometimes the better battle is with the women's field. Oh, there's Johnny Mares, currently 4th place in the point series. He's right behind Logan Broadbent with the Grit Fitness band on. Oh, I'm getting FOMO, Miranda. I wish I was there. This looks like fun. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit of a delay.
It does, and they're off.
They're off. There we go.
Right,
yeah, you see some guys in the back
mountain.
taking it out a little slower. Yeah, a little bit of an audio delay. That's okay. It's usually hard to get a good connection on a snow mountain. I mean, on a ski mountain.
So to give you guys an idea of who is who, they're kind of close to the camera with the red hair and the black shorts, the orange shoes. That is Logan Broadbent. Again, this is his home course, so I expect him to do well. Do you recognize anybody else in this beginning bunch? I do see Ryan Kempson with the headband and the gray shorts, probably in that second kind of group of guys.
No, what I'm really
I see
surprised
Marquez
is that, and I'm not
pink
sure.
shorts.
I'm not sure if it's because of the delay, but it's hard to get a good idea of just how fast they're running. From the way it looks
Yes.
like on my screen, it looks like these guys are blazing fast right out the get go up the hill. I expected everyone to reserve themselves maybe just a little bit, but they're just all out, and Logan's trying to set a precedence. He's trying to command the
Well,
lead from the
Logan,
beginning.
yeah, Logan is a 15K OCR World Championship champion. So I'm not surprised to see him at the front of the group really pushing the pace high, even at this incline.
Oh, I'm forgetting the name of the gentleman sitting in second place right now. I think we've seen him before.
That's not Joseph Cotto, is it?
I don't think it is. We can't quite tell. We'll get a better view in a little bit. But notice how I wonder if that's strategy on Ryan's side of staying just right behind Logan. There's always an interesting strategy, right? Of getting up behind someone, running really close to them, and kind of wearing them down mentally. And kind of getting their head where you're constantly on them. And they have that pressure of someone in front of them, right? I wonder if he's implementing that strategy.
Could be. You've got to be
We're gonna
pretty
go
brave to
underneath.
be pushing Logan Broadbent up a hit like that. I'm not sure
Well,
trying
that's
to
the
break him would
mentality
be
of the
my
pro
strategy.
wave, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now it looks like it's going downhill for a little bit. They are giving it full send and bombing it. Look all the way to Scornhole. And they're gone. The top men cannot lose any time in between each other at this point. You can make up for it later on, but this early on, you want to keep your competition within eyesight. Being able to break eye line with your competition can be a mental obstacle, indeed. Wow, look how fast they're rolling underneath there.
For sure. Yeah, back scratcher looks like a fairly
You
simple
see here,
obstacle.
kind of.
It's just a short wall with some barbed wire crawl, but that up and down motion from the ground to jumping up, it really spikes your heart rate. I always find that to be actually a challenging obstacle for me because of that heart rate spike.
And I want to give a special shout out to all the rabbits. I know we always kind of give them a shout out while we're commentating, but I want to call them out by name for all the hard work they're doing. And you'd be surprised how many of the rabbits are elite athletes in themselves that are possibly, not taking on this race because they're training for a different one coming up. They're tapering. They're focused on a different race series. There's all kinds of different reasons. But special thanks to James Stengel, Corey Smirk, Shan Howell, Rachel Hunt, and Savage Race OG. Well, I guess Rachel Hunt and Jessica Pope. They're both Savage Race OGs. They work for Savage Race, and they've been there with a long time. Absolutely fantastic ladies. We really appreciate all the hard work you guys do out there. And of course, our good
we
friend
have that
Jason
little
Dupree.
picture where we've got a sighting of the ladies down there, and I saw Rachel Corigliano. There's Rachel Waters. And we also saw Chrissy McFarland. Again, she is a Ohio native, just like Logan, so not surprising to see her here. But I did not see her name on the registration list. She's not doing the series, so she says, but this is now her third race. So I wouldn't be surprised if kind of last minute she decides to add those last two races just to get her name in the point series. She did well last year. She was, I think, third or fourth in the rankings.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I had missed that.
Third. Last year,
some
Chrissy
guys are
McFarland
worn
got
out.
third in the point series.
Yep. Here's some of the gentlemen in the backside of the pro
We've
wave.
already,
Great job. Great job.
yeah, we've already got a big gap forming just from that initial climb up the mountain.
What the? How you doing? How was that? That first
Yeah, that
little
can
warm-up
wear you.
for
If you're not from
Yeah.
elevation like that, just you could be a fantastic athlete. You could be amazing on
Well,
obstacles,
yeah, I did.
but having to run right out the
It's so good
get-go,
out
when
there.
especially you got the adrenaline pumping,
I told him he needs
straight
to
up
be going
the
hiking to Maine.
ski mountain, that will wear you out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, thank you.
Do we have Miranda? Do you have any predictions for the women's field?
What? Just once, the whole thing though. Yeah. Maybe again soon.
Oh, the ladies, I think, is a little bit harder to predict.
Aw,
I
thank you so
think
much.
Chris will come out in
Run an obstacle
first.
course race, but thanks.
I think Alex will come out in second, and maybe Rachel Corigliano in third. That would be my prediction. What about you?
Good work, guys. Good job.
Do we know if Jamie is here? Horianopoulos?
Jamie is here. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
And she's been on fire.
I'm gonna take her for third. I'm gonna take her for third. Now, get me wrong. I've never had a chance to meet the lady in person. I'm sure she's wonderful, but I am a big Rachel Corigliano fan. Her and her husband, Ken, they're good friends. I'm really rooting for them. But I'm gonna have a feeling that Jamie is been trying to chase down Alex. Her and Alex have been going back and forth. Well, actually, I say that, but Alex led most of the last race. And got out obstacled at the end, in her own words. So it could go either way. You're absolutely right. I think the women's field is more unpredictable. I'm excited to see that battle. Man, look at this terrain. This looks absolutely beautiful to be running through these forests.
Ohio is a beautiful course. Highly recommend running this one. So something we didn't talk about when we looked at the course map is Colossus, which is the Savage Race slide. You climb up one side. There is a rope. It's kind of like a warped wall with a rope on it to help you up. And then on the back side of it is a giant slide into water. It's a water slide, so it's super fun. But right after that obstacle is the Savage Rig. So that's a little dirty on Savage to be making you soaking wet right before going through the most grip intensive obstacle that they have to offer, right? So whenever they do that, sometimes there is some difficulty aligned with that because you can't just wipe your clothes off on your shorts anymore. Your hands, I mean. So that adds a difficulty factor to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Alex or Rachel Corigliano, they end up with a little bit of trouble because of that, because we have seen in the past when they've had wet hands or harder obstacles, it just may take them a second try. So but we'll see. I know Alex has been working grip really hard, so hopefully that's not a problem today.
Yeah, I can't see
We've
any
got
of the
Ryan
top
Kempson
women
on the
getting
screen.
stuck at a rig or anything like that. Yeah, that's a really good point, because normally, say you had a barbed wire crawl or something like that, you'd keep your hands up so you don't get them wet. So you know a rig is coming up, you can grip them. But like you said, in this obstacle where you slide down into the water, there's no way of not getting completely drenched and wet. So that's an absolutely good point. Here we go. I think that's Joseph Cotto. I think that is Joseph Cotto.
I tried to find Joseph Cotto on Instagram. I couldn't find him, so Oh yeah, is that Ian Hosek?
Looks like Logan Broadbent's in fourth right now. Yeah, I think so. I know Ian Hosek is from elevation as well. So he should be on par with Logan Broadbent in these conditions. You couldn't ask for better weather, though. Look at it, 60 degrees, sun is shining. It's absolutely beautiful out.
I know. Looks beautiful.
Well, these guys look like they're going all out. You see the look on their face. Sometimes they don't look like they're struggling as much, but they are pushing hard. This is also a good time, I think, to mention for anyone else watching that's maybe new to Savage Race, new to OCR, keep in mind, this is the pro wave. They have waves for everyone else. You can be of any different kind of size, color, shape, disability, background, fitness background, and still come out and do these. People come out and they walk the course. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, getting off the couch, showing up. So don't think you have to be a pro, an elite athlete to be able to come do these races. Show up. Savage Race puts on and always has put on an amazing race. They're really about innovating and putting on, new 4 obstacles about every year they'll implement about 4 more. Okay, I'm going to shut up while we see the women about to go off, see who's on the line.
I got an insider
back to
tip
watching the
from
men.
our YouTube live chat that the gentleman in the orange shorts is Jordan McDougal. I have heard that name before. I know who that is.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
yeah, happy to see him up there.
Let me see where he's at in the point series. Seen his name on there too.
I'm not sure if he's running it yet. And we see the picture-in-picture that the ladies race just started.
I believe he was in Georgia, the first race.
You can see that the ladies field is getting pretty spread out pretty fast. Even just, coming up that hill, it's pretty difficult, especially like Miles said with us, people that don't live anywhere with elevation. Those kind of courses always kind of wreck me.
There you go. The women are off.
Is that
seems
Rachel
to be a more
Corigliano, I
conserved
think,
effort
pushing it
straight
in the
up the
front?
hill?
Yeah, more
I
conserved than the
don't
men.
think
for
so.
Sure.
We'll get a better look here in a little bit. Yeah, okay, yeah. It shows last I'm looking at the stats of Jordan McDougal, he has a 98 points, so it looks like maybe he just had raced 1. Maybe in Georgia, that first one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He got a 3rd place finish. That might be Alex Walker in the lead. Now that we're getting a little bit of a closer view.
Yeah, she has a very distinct cadence. That is indeed Kris and Alex. And look, there's already a gap there between first and second and then the rest of the pack. They're trying to take a commanding lead. Props to our fellow Texas athletes. Look at that, trying to show up at elevation.
Yeah.
So the other ones that we can run on a mountain as well. I'm glad it's Alexander Walker and Kris Rugloski and not me. Because I wouldn't be setting as good of an example for Texas athletes. I'd probably be huffing and puffing with the rest of the pack. So I love the flat courses better.
Yeah, me too. But Alex does do a good job. She finds that one hill in Texas and then goes up and down it a million times for her training. So she finds a way.
Yeah, for those not familiar with Texas, she lives in the San Antonio area, that surrounding area. And that surrounding area is kind of what we call hill country. And so if you're going to find any hills in Texas, it's obviously best there. There's Rachel.
Yeah, this is Rachel Corigliano sitting in 3rd. Rachel, there's Jamie.
And they're applying the power hiking technique. It is such a great technique.
There's Chrissy. It is. Jess Shepard.
Bracken Crocker had first pointed that out to me with the South Africans and how they would do that at OCR World Championships and putting your hands on your knees and pumping like that. There's Rachel Waters. Bring them down. It's a good way to take some of the tax off your cardiovascular system and just kind of being able to pump with your arms on your legs and can giving your legs a bit of a break so you can keep on moving. At this point, it's about just keeping on moving, right?
Yeah. Kris and Alex are pushing each other hard. We already saw that gap forming, which is kind of wild. Here's that first obstacle. It's called Scorn Hole. It's not super challenging, kind of like a wall ball, but it's angled. And it's like a 10-pound weight or something. But if you miss it, it costs you a couple seconds. So
Now, that's
we've
an
got
interesting
Alex in the
technique. Did you
lead.
see how Alexandra Walker did that? She'd obviously studied this obstacle beforehand, and she did the thing where she ducks underneath the first wire and then stands up and runs because the pattern of the wire is at an X. So she can just run to the
It's
last
just an
wire,
X,
duck
yeah.
under it, keep going. Brilliant strategy.
I use that same strategy. Yeah. So a lot of these ladies are, very well versed in Savage Race specifically. This isn't their first rodeo. They've done a lot of these obstacles a lot of times. So they know what they're doing.
There goes Rachel.
I
Rachel's
feel
pushing it
like,
hard.
is that Kaci Monroe by Rachel Corigliano?
I can't quite tell. I wouldn't be surprised. Was Kaci Monroe, was she from that area? I can't quite. Shame on me. I
I'm not
interviewed
sure.
her a
I
long
don't
time
know
ago
too
and
much around
drawn a
about
blank.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, there. It looks like we're behind Rachel Corigliano. She's looking strong.
She is looking strong. She's kind of like the Savage Race OG. I think for a long time she was kind of like the one to beat, like the undefeated Savage Race champion. And she had a baby and she came back and was still at the top, and now she has had a second child, and she hasn't returned to as many races as what she was doing before. It's a little bit harder as a parent, especially when you've got two little ones, but always excited to see her on the course because she always does great. She's a great runner, good obstacle proficiency.
Yeah, and another thing to point out there too is that might be a reason why we didn't see her husband running. Because hey, someone's got to watch the kids. I do the same thing with my wife, where it's like, okay, which one of us gets a race and which one of us gets to watch the kids, right?
Yep.
And so that's kind of a beautiful relationship when people sacrifice for each other like that. That's the kind of compromise and relationship should be about, right? If you really love someone, you sacrifice for the other. It's like a give and take.
Yeah.
Even though they're both obviously passionate about the sport.
Yeah, I think it's Frozen.
Yeah, it looks like we have a Frozen screen.
All right, I think I'm back. Welcome back. Sorry for a little bit of technical difficulties for a moment. I believe that is Kaci Monroe.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Had a technical issue. Lawson had to restart everything.
Yep. I'm back too. Welcome back, Miles.
Who do we have?
I believe
Here,
this is fourth and fifth, Rachel Corigliano and Jamie Horianopoulos. We had 1 and 2. I'm not sure who's in the lead, Kris and Alex. And then I really think it is Kaci Monroe in that third place position.
See, Rachel has an interesting running cadence. You notice how she crosses her arms over instead of the normal like this. She's crossing over. You normally want to correct running cadence go like this. But then again, hey, you just ran up a mountain, you're tired. Form is going to be poor sometimes, right? Still looks good. There's the power hiking of Rachel Waters.
Yeah, you can hear our rabbit panting a little bit, which really does it justice for how hard this is. You know, they're not even doing the obstacles, but still tough to keep up.
Look at Alex has a fantastic pace. Look at that.
Yeah, she does.
She's so well
She's
aware of
looking
her
strong.
body. She knows exactly how to dial it in to exactly where she wants to be. It comes up. Props to the rabbit for keeping up with Alexandra Walker right on her. I think that specific sports top is becoming iconic with her. It's one of the easiest ways to recognize her. I always recognize her by her running cadence, but
yeah, me too. She has kind of a unique stride, but yeah, it always looks strong.
Here in Texas, we call her the Texas T-Rex. One of the easiest ways to recognize her. I always recognize her by her running cadence.
I haven't seen him say
yeah, me too. She has kind of a unique stride, but
we're getting some more of the men. Okay, we'll get up with the leading pack here in a little bit.
All right, I have confirmed that is Kaci Monroe sitting in third place position.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. That throws everything out of the mix. We didn't expect that. We weren't talking about her. I totally forgot she lives around there. So cool to see her show up.
Yeah, I think she's done one race so far in the series where she came in fifth place, but against these women, that's impressive.
That's Joe Cotto, I believe.
Taking a water break.
He's right here, Ian.
That is rare. You don't see that often. You don't ever see anyone in the pro wave stop to grab any kind of water, but they're running up a ski hill, so it's definitely more taxing and demanding than normal. It's not surprising to see someone actually do that today. Look like maybe some of the open waivers coming underneath the cargo. She's going to use the careful technique of kind of side rolling. It's kind of side rolling. It's kind of front walking down. That's an interesting technique. And she's picking it right back up.
So I think that's getting more common, especially because Savage Race has that bar in the middle of the bottom of the cargo net. So at Spartan, you can flip all the way down, but you don't want to do that at Savage Race because you will drill the back of your ankle into that beam there. So doing that sideways roll is a good technique to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And notice how everyone is taking advantage of the downhill. On a course like this, you want to let gravity do its thing. Make up for the time you lost power hiking or going slower uphill, capitalizing on the downhill, letting gravity do its thing and bombing the downhills.
Okay, thank you.
But then again, that could be difficult too, right? Because then you have It's undulating terrain. It's risky when you bomb the downhill. As it's undulating, you could easily roll an ankle,
Yeah,
hit a rock, something like that. It's hard because you have less time to react.
definitely risky. But sometimes it's worth it. I love how Savage Race does that. They almost always put some sort of obstacle inside of their carry, which is cool because these logs you're carrying, they're not super heavy. They're a little bit awkward because they're long. So if you're going through the woods or something or up a steep hill, that can add the challenge to it. So yeah, I love that they incorporate crawls, or it might be a water pit or something like that. So just another way to make that carry a little bit more interesting. So that's always fun.
Yeah, and it's not a bad obstacle. It's not a bad carry. That log is actually very, very light. So I'm glad they put something else in the mix to add a little more difficulty to it. It's really not that heavy. I'm wondering, do you think Savage Race will ever make them heavier in the future? Here comes Alexandra Walker.
I don't think they will. It's kind of their staple. They like to make the carries like we just talked about. They can add an obstacle, or they had a couple races last year, the season before, where they had like a 1.5 mile start with the log carry or something insane. So I feel like they can make it difficult without having to make it heavier.
Alexandra Walker is setting a commanding lead. She is absolutely killing
Alex
it because I don't see Kris in
is
the background.
strong. She is strong at the carries. She has made a point to make that one of her big training focuses, and she makes up a tremendous amount of time on the carries. If you ever look at the Strava segments, she very frequently beats out almost all of the guys.
Oh yeah, and she loves
I
that.
think that
There's
might be Kris right
you put a
behind
guy
her.
in front of her. It is Kris. We see in another cam. Okay, so she doesn't have that much of a lead. It's about a, what do you say, 20, 30-second lead.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a gap calculation when they put the log down.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them put that log down, because when they do, they're both going to start going all out, flying most likely downhill, and then we'll really see how far they're going to push it.
What is it?
There's Kiss My Walls.
Oh, really? Yeah, you saw his back was all cut up too.
There we go. The men are on Kiss My Walls. Looks like, is that Johnny Mares on the end?
No, I think Johnny was in orange shorts.
This is another staple of Savage Race. They didn't have this last year, did they?
It depends on the venue. So they did have it last year. Oh, this is our battle for third place.
Woo!
Oh, and there we've got
there's
Logan
Logan.
Broadbent
Ryan!
coming in too. Or maybe this could be our top three. I didn't.
Okay, second place.
Second
Okay, yeah.
place. Nice.
He's pointing
So
at
I
second place.
assume Ryan.
Okay, so 3 is on Kiss My Walls right now. Thank you to the rabbit for pointing that out for us.
And then there's Logan. He
off.
made up some ground on that obstacle.
I feel like the holds on the Kiss My Walls for Savage Race are more difficult than the holds on the Z Wall for Spartan Race. Spartan Race will usually use those blocks, and they're more like climbing holds for Savage Race, which can be, I think, more difficult.
I agree, especially if they're wet. Those climbing holds are a lot more difficult to hold on to than the blocks. Yeah, they often are. They are still on this carry, so this is not a short carry.
I'm not used to being so top. It's so wide
There
up
we
here. We got a little bit of
both Kris and Alex are now walking with the log. They know it's a long carry, so they're trying to conserve themselves.
Yeah, I do see Alex kind of alternating a little bit. She'll jog a couple steps and then she'll take that power hike. So I think she's trying really hard to not go too slow. But it looks like Kris's power hike might be a little faster, but it's kind of hard to gauge that just from footage.
I can guarantee she's just trying to keep Alexandra Walker in eyesight.
Yep.
And conserve herself for the downhill. She's really smart with that. What I've seen her when she did the new Spartan 3K series, you can see her walk some of the hills as well. And then just bomb it downhill, and on the straights go all out. You know, learning to capitalize on your strengths.
You got this. Yeah, Joey's right
Here's
there.
another new obstacle for Savage Race this year.
Get them out. Woo, go get him, go get him. Yeah, Logan. Woo, get them out. Good job, go, go, go.
Yeah, that looks like a fun obstacle, doesn't it? That's a really creative but also looks like a fun obstacle. I feel like Savage Race has some of the most fun obstacles.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you, you put a guy in front of Alexandra Walker, and she's gonna use him as incentive to pass him. She loves passing the dudes. We've all been passed. I've been passed by her numerous times, and it just pushes her that much. She doesn't even need to be in second place and trying to hunt down first place. She's just eating them up.
For those of you that don't know, that's called getting chicked.
Yeah. I told Alexandra Walker one time, I'm going to start a support group for all of us guys that have been chicked by Alexandra Walker. Start a Facebook group.
Yeah, you can see that she means business. She is, like you said, gobbling up these guys, really taking this downhill serious to try to make up some ground if she can. And you can see the way she just adjusted the log, kind of change your balance a little bit, alternate with shoulder. To me, that log really drills into my like my collarbone up on my shoulder, so a little more painful. But Alex's run looked stronger than Kris's.
Yeah, but
I think
Kris is
Alex
still running
knows
downhill.
Yeah, she is. I think Alex knows she needs a lead going into that last gauntlet, so that way what happened last time doesn't happen this time. So
you know what's kind of smart about her technique? Look how she has the log on one side, right? And her hand is balancing her balance with the other free hand. Yeah. And she'll swap like this. And now Kris is utilizing that same technique, but not balancing as much as she bombs downhill.
So I didn't quite see Alex put down the log, but I did start a timer to try to guesstimate it. All right, so at least 12 seconds gap between them. I'm going to start one here.
All right, there. Ryan Kempson finishing
so Ryan
give and
Kempson
take.
Is off.
You start the timer and see what the lead is between first and second.
Yep,
Ryan is taking it to the men today.
We're already at 12 seconds, and we don't even have somebody here yet.
Okay.
We got second place approaching.
Wow, we're coming up into the 20 minutes in this race, and Ryan, now that's a commanding lead. Ryan is taking it to the men today. Now this is Jordan McDougal.
Yeah, I think this is going to turn out being a minute lead. I believe it is McDougal.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And he swung, he hit the middle. Oh, brilliant strategy.
Seconds. Yeah, that was amazing.
He looks like a taller gentleman as well. He's got longer legs. Someone who's shorter as myself. I'm only 5'7". That wouldn't work for me. But good on him, right? But also a risky move. Jumps all the way to the middle, anchors away, and then uses his feet without having to mess with the gibbons at all.
It is risky.
If you miss, you're going to be hurting, though.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling after seeing that, though, people are going to try that, and we'll see some obstacle fails for sure.
I hear Jessica cheering on Joe. So I think this is Joseph Cotto. We're at 144, so about a 2-minute gap from the leader. But these guys are in a battle for third.
It's quite the battle for third. This is a tight battle. This is cool to watch.
All right, so they're about 1 minute behind second place and 2 minutes behind first place. All right, come on, guys. Big swing. Nice. Logan hits the bell. Joe hits the bell. Nice.
Wow, this battle for third might be the best battle of the day. What do you think, Miranda? You think this battle for third is going to continue to be the tightest? These guys are right next to each other.
I think it's going to be like that all day, all the way until the last 3 obstacles. Something else we didn't talk about with the course map, the very last obstacle is another one of their new ones. It's called Twist and Shout. That's the obstacle where you crawl into a mesh, kind of like a tunnel maybe, and then you have to roll many times in order to kind of untangle the net before you can get out. So that'll be interesting to see if there's a battle going on for third place at that point, what it's going to look like.
Yeah. It's almost like a fishing net, right? It's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah.
It's better to see it. But especially for someone like myself that gets motion sickness, it seems horrible. It's absolutely like my
Can
worst
you imagine
nightmare.
fighting for a podium spot in that obstacle? You just are going to have to roll as fast as you can and just
but then you
hope
could panic
that you
and
come
make a
out not
mistake and
dizzy.
make it worse.
Yeah, you could be rolling the wrong way.
Thank you.
Now here's Sawtooth. Here's another staple. Maybe one of my favorites of Savage Race.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is longer. That's longer than it looks. That angle actually kind of does it justice, but it just goes up at an incline. And what do you say, like a 15% incline all the way forward, and you transition all the way down. And it's a long monkey bars.
They frequently change that angle, actually. So some courses it'll be steeper than others. It depends how much space they have. Sometimes they do it just over land, not over water, in which case they have to make it a little less steep to make it closer to the ground. But that top of the peak can be really difficult. You have to get a big swing or some big movement to get up to those top bars. And they have a little bit of a fatter grip, those middle ones. Ryan Kempson looking strong. This is very technical terrain, but he just makes it look smooth and easy.
I mean, the rabbit's having a hard time keeping up with him. Props to the rabbit for keeping up with him like that. He is flying through that extremely technical terrain.
Yeah, well, he's trying to
Look,
keep
and there
up.
you go. Our rabbit's he's catching his breath. I don't blame him. Ryan is absolutely putting it to the guys. And not only taking it to the men today, these are elite athletes. These are not slow men. These top guys are all amazing. And Ryan is just setting a precedent. He's coming out today and saying, hey, this series is mine. No one's going to take it from me. I'm going to show you why. There, looks like we got Marquez.
Here we have, and Kevin Thompson, who just hit the bell.
Oh, there you go. Marquez is going to try that technique.
Oh, he's taking, yeah. Oh, he missed.
He said Marquez looks like he's about my height. It's a little shorter. That's a hard one to make.
Now, it could be Marquez or Nathan. I'm not sure how to tell them apart. Oh, see, and a miss. So that strategy only pays off if you hit the bell, because now he could have done it the safer route and probably would have gotten it.
Yeah.
But
that seems
it's
like
just a matter of, is it worth the risk?
With a crash pad, find a ninja gym, find an OCR gym, have a crash pad underneath it and just practice that over and over. Because, when you got race brain and adrenaline's rushing, sometimes there's a little finer movements. It's harder to do, right?
Well, the Green brothers are American Ninja Warriors. So it's not too surprising to me that he is trying to take that jump. I'm sure that is something that he has practiced in training. Alex looking strong on this terrain too, but again, I just want to point out this beautiful venue. This course was just, I remember running it last year, and it's just so beautiful.
It looks like something from a calendar, right? Like, this is absolutely beautiful. I've got to come out and try this race. And once again, to everyone, if you're just tuning in, hey, you don't have to be a pro athlete to come do this course. The open waves are the majority of the people that show up to these races. It's absolutely fun. It's not mandatory completion. You can just try the obstacle, and if you can't get it, you can go past it. Still finish the race and get your medal and your finisher shirt and drink. And it's
You get him?
it's a fantastic blast. It's a really good time. But of course, if you want to compete in the pro wave, this is what we call mandatory completion, where you have to successfully complete the obstacle. Otherwise, you do not get to proceed. You will be considered, if you cannot pass the obstacle, you will be considered DNF'd, did not finish, disqualified, and you can still finish the race if you want, but your placement will not count. And of course, these guys are competing for the points, right? So they really want to get every point they can gain.
All right, I've got a time
There you
going
go.
on this big cheese obstacle. So that's Ryan Kempson still holding a commanding lead. And he is approaching, what is that obstacle called?
That's the hoist. So what you guys are seeing
Yank
there
My
is
Chain.
yank my chain. It's a very heavy chain, almost like you see in a naval situation. It's way heavier than it looks. I'd say it's equivalent to the Herculean hoist at Spartan Race, but they have to lift the chain all the way up to the very top, hit, and control it on the way down, and you can move on.
For
But that,
Yank My
I
Chain,
tell
you
you what,
can drop it.
oh, you can't just straight up drop it. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's still pretty.
always make sure you
It's
know the
much more
rules.
difficult than it looks.
Come on, Kris.
All right, so we've got second place approaching. I'm gonna try to get a time gap on that if we can see him, and we've got first place approaching Sawtooth.
I
Ryan
love to see
always,
Ryan's.
yes, he's so good on this obstacle specifically. You can see he's skipping a bunch of rungs. He's got that big backwards pull, that kind of ape swing. Just looks so strong.
Yeah, it's like he's been training with the gorillas. Yeah, you can see. You see, these gentlemen are strong, and you can see how Jordan McDougal's struggling right there. It is not a light chain. I'm amazed they don't have the rig right after that. Sometimes they'll put the rig after wearing out your grip, pulling the chain up.
Yeah, it's a little evil when they do that. So I did get confirmation that that is Marquez Green that we see. Nathan is just said
Okay.
that he's at home with an injury. So sorry to hear that, Nathan.
Oh yeah, get better, bud. We love our OCR family. We love to see him out here competing. This is a really special community of people. All the for anyone interested in trying their first obstacle course race, everyone is super welcoming, very loving. Everyone helps each other. Besides here in the pro wave, you're not supposed to help each other in the pro wave, but all the other waves outside, you see
Yes, but
people
on the
helping
open
each other
course,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, the open course. But
All right, so I think this
we're
is
a big
Ian
family.
Hosek with the blue shorts. I got that note
I
from
believe it is too.
somebody.
He's looking strong.
Looking strong. I believe he's in third.
No, Jordan McDougal had already been here. It was Jordan McDougal in
I
second place.
thought Jordan was in second. Yes. Jordan in second, Ian in third.
Well, the gap is spreading larger now. Now we're not seeing as hard of a fight for third place.
Oh,
And of
that's
course,
fourth.
same time
Okay.
we see
So you might be right.
see Kris Rugloski on Kiss My Walls.
And Logan Broadbent in fifth. You can you can tell how heavy that chain is.
Yeah, Logan is strong, but he's a shorter guy like me. Let me tell you, man, that chain is a lot more difficult for those guys that don't weigh as much.
Yeah. I did start a timer on Sawtooth, but I haven't seen it since then, so I'm not sure what the gap is at this point. We've got
There you go,
Kris on
good.
the screen here, looking strong. She always has that beautiful stride. Nice, big steps.
Yeah, I love to watch Kris Rugloski grow. As she gets older, she's more and more in tune with exactly what her body's capable of, when to push and when not to push. She becomes more strategic as she gets older. It seems like, as we see her race after race, even though she has that absolute dynamic capability to be able to do any distance, any race, any event, show up and always be a podium contender. There's the Texas T-Rex.
I
Alexandra
love this new
Walker.
obstacle.
She's a legend.
You know, I saw a video of somebody skipping that rope ladder in the middle. I'm going to start a timer. If we can get view of the person behind Alex getting on this obstacle, we can see the gap. She's looking strong on
Wow.
the balance. And that's the way to do it. You want to go through kind of quick and smooth at the same time. I find if you slow down too much, then you're going to start wobbling and you're more likely to fall in. So keep that forward momentum moving. All right,
So how
Alex,
much time do you got on that
with a
timer?
good lead. I started the timer at the end, so let's wait until Kris finishes. Right now I'm at 35 seconds, so maybe something like 45-second gap maybe. But I think Alex was a little bit faster on this. Nice job. Kris, 46 seconds behind
46
Alex.
seconds, okay. But Alexandra Walker, she's flying. She wants those points. She wants to
I think Alex wants
to send
it.
a message. Yeah. She wants it worse than she's wanted it in a while.
I think Kris isn't scared, so maybe she's running a little more relaxed and just kind of thinking like, I'll make my move when the time is right. I think that she's really staying in her own race and she's not pushing the pace just to keep up with Alex. She's not letting Alex control it. She's going to make her move when she's ready and maybe conserving until the right time. And at the same time, I think Alex was trying to make that, to force it, to make it her race. So it's kind of interesting when you think of the different strategies. All right, here we've got Ryan Kempson on Colossus. So like I said, they've got a short gap between this obstacle and the rig. So we'll see the rig will be next. And Ryan always makes them look easy, and they are not.
This is the obstacle that Miranda was talking about earlier. Yeah. See how much fun that looks, the giant water slide?
Yes. Yeah. I love that Savage has that balance. They've got those really hard grip obstacles to make the pros happy, and then they've got these really cool fun ones like the giant water slide, which makes it much more exciting for the open waivers.
Here we're looking at Ian Hosek.
Yep, this is Tree Hugger 2.0. This is another kind of new design on an obstacle this year. So you can see you've got to jump up there. He made it look easy, but last time we saw some lead changes happening on the women's field. For the shorter athletes, it can be much more difficult because you can't just reach up to those top handles. You've got to get on there and then kind of shimmy up it if you don't have that wingspan.
Yeah, and Ian Hosek's a taller gentleman. I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't just grabbed one rope and jumped up and nailed the bell.
Yeah. You do have to get on the log. You can't just jump and hit the bell. That is like in the rule book. Just as an FYI for anybody watching, but I bet that he could as well. He looked pretty tall.
It'll be interesting. They see with people trying that strategy on give and take, where you just jump to the middle anchor and then swing and hit the foot. I wonder if they'll lengthen the gap between the holds to mitigate that. It'll be interesting how they do that in the next race. Which the next race, by the way, is in Chicago, and then we're coming to Texas. Oh, let's see how Ryan does this.
He skips a ring. Not surprising. Ooh, that PVC pipe can be slick, especially when you're wet from Colossus. He makes it look easy, of course. Ryan Kempson is a strong obstacle proficient athlete.
Did you notice how right after the PVC pipe, when he grabbed the next hold, he didn't have as much momentum? And he's fortunate enough that he's tall enough to where he can kind of just reach over and grab the next hold without having to have any kind of momentum to touch that next hold.
Yeah. All right, he's coming in
Okay,
through the
here we
finish.
are.
This is the final obstacle, twist and shout.
This is the one you and me are talking about. So it kind of looks like a fishnet.
Yeah,
And
you've got to
man, would
crawl
it
in.
be... Can you imagine the feeling of leading this whole race and losing your lead right at the very end due to this obstacle?
Yeah, that would not feel good. It's a little like, I hope you don't have much claustrophobia because that's not a great feeling.
Yeah. There you go. He's through. Okay, I think it's safe to say this race is Ryan Kempson. Yeah, he's running to the finish. Yep. He will be your first place pro male.
Maintaining
no
that
surprise
first
there.
place
That's what
in
we
the
were
series.
thinking.
Nice job, Ryan. We've got Alex Walker on give and take, and she makes it through. She really had to fight to get through that, but she did get it first try.
Oh, there's Logan Broadbent, I believe.
And I see Kris is also on give and take. She had to do a quick little retry just from the start, though.
And Kris Rugloski is no stranger to Gibbons. She's trained on it a bunch. Here we see some men stuck there too. But looks like she has got through. Yeah, nice. Good job, Kris. And so what some of you guys are seeing here is that these pro men are retrying once again.
Kris is about 36 seconds behind Alex.
I get that momentum.
Okay, so she's made up a little time. It was like 46 seconds when we last checked, so about 10 seconds she's made up.
Go.
I think, is this Joe Cotto sitting in second place, and now we've got third place catching up. So now this is a battle for second, I believe. Battle for third?
Yes.
Third and fourth.
Third and fourth. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, third. Okay. It's the battle for third. I'm sorry. We must have missed.
No, come on
I'm guessing Jordan McDougal got second.
Guys.
Yeah, see, this is difficult when you're wet.
Who finished in second
Good job, Joe!
You got it. Okay, all right. Joseph Cotto will be your third place. Well, it's yet to be shown. We'll see. He still has 2 more obstacles. How did you feel about this obstacle, Miranda? I've never had a chance to try that. Oh, and he stepped over the line there. He's obviously tired.
There you go.
We're gonna have to practice that at home. I feel like we got some empty tires laying around. We can toss around onto something.
My tire is like 300 pounds or something, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to throw that one.
Woo! Got Ian.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Mine too. There's
we've
tires
got
everywhere.
Ian in fourth, Logan in fifth, but that's gonna be a battle for fourth.
Same thing.
30 pounds, you don't need anymore?
No, absolutely not.
Let's see. I want to see the gentleman in the twist and shout. There we go. There's Ian Hosek. Now, I wonder if this is his first time on this obstacle. I have done this one before. He's already on the point series.
It has been at the other races, so I think he has done it before.
Let's see. That one looks more twisted than the one next to him, right? So maybe being careful about which lane you choose could really pay dividends in this specific obstacle.
I like to believe Savage Race is actually one of the companies really good at making their obstacles, their lanes as consistent as possible. So I think it is hopefully just a viewing difference.
All right, Ian Hosek in first. So we got Ryan Kempson in first, Jordan McDougal in second, Joseph Cotto in third, Ian Hosek in fourth.
Sounds about right. All right, hopefully we can catch some views of the ladies.
Nice,
we can see, there we go, Logan Broadbent sticking that. I saw on a side camera that he had to retry that, I think, a couple times.
You know what I love about Logan?
this,
You see, he's always smiling. He always has this really good, happy look on his face, no matter how bad he's suffering.
yeah.
All
Here
right,
we
let's
have
go,
Alex
Alex.
Walker in block party. Yeah, Logan does look so happy, maybe just because he's crawling out of that difficult obstacle and coming up on the finish line. You know, you're about done.
Alexander Walker made quick work of that obstacle.
Yeah. I
It's
liked
just a
her
cinder
technique
block you
on
got to
that.
pull towards you. Yeah, you notice how she just one big, long, strong pull, conserved herself, one big, long, strong pull.
Yeah, so that's how I like to do it. Sit on the ground, use my abs, kind of pull it up back, pull my arms all the way up to my head. Yes.
Yes, Jason, we can hear you.
So here we've got Kris
All right,
behind
it looks
her.
like Kris made up some time.
Yeah, I started the clock a little after. It looks like we've still got about maybe 25 seconds between them. So she has closed the gap. So I think maybe that was Kris's strategy, and she is taking this last little bit of the course harder.
It looks like we're downhill now, so you can just let gravity do it. Bomb the downhill.
We see that
Not to
that
mention your
guy
legs
has an
got a little break.
interesting sling ring strategy. He's trying to kind of throw it to the side. I don't think that's really going to work so much. But you've got to be pretty strong to... This looks like a young
His
guy.
arms are worn out. Yeah, as a young guy, his
Yeah.
arms are worn out. He's having a hard time just holding
Come
it up.
on. Oh, man.
Almost.
Yeah,
We're
this
rooting
really
for him.
does it justice, though. Yeah, the pros always make things look easier. So again, this is just something where it might take you a few tries. That's all right. Things aren't as easy as those top, 5 guys make it look. We've got Kevin Thompson coming through the rig, looking good. It's going to get him some good points for the series.
I was looking for my buddy Freddie Thompson. Freddie Thompson's up there on the list as well. Doing really well. I think he's made it to all the races so far.
Was he on the list today? I don't think he was going to be there today, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I saw him on the registration, but he's up on the leaderboard pretty high.
Yeah.
Local OCR athlete friend of ours.
Now we can see a sight. We can see Alex and Kris in the same view. So Kris is making up ground. And now she's got her in her sights, and that's going to encourage her to push hard.
Yeah, here we go. I think this is where Kris needs to start making her move. She's going to make a move, but you'd be hard-pressed to catch Alexander Walker on the climb.
It's messing me up with the blitz being on the course. I'm like...
Miles, who would you rather be in this situation? Would you rather be Alex with the lead being chased? Or would you rather be Kris with Alex in your sights doing the chasing?
Well, we see Kris is power hiking here. She's worn out. She really needs to be pushing Alexander Walker right now. We're getting close to the end of the course, so she really needs the push and start closing the gap. It looks like she has been incrementally closing it little by little, which is surprising. She must be power hiking really fast. I would rather be in Alexander Walker's position because she wants it so bad. Okay, she's power hiking there too. She wants it so bad. She's got the lead. Look, she's looking back at her.
Alex took that look back. Yep. She's trying to gauge how hard do I have to try. Oh, she's closing. I need to gun it. Look at her go. She really picked up over that corner once they had that downhill. I do not like running scared. I would rather be Kris. I would rather be kind of in control of, and at that point, if you're already sitting in second, you kind of have to either come to terms with it, or you have to be like, look, I have to, really sell my soul if I want to close that gap.
Yeah. Well, there's also the mental demon side of it, right? Say you're in Kris's position right now. That's when it's easiest for the
she
little.
took off.
It's just rounding around the corner. You can't be that much further down. Yeah. But imagine the thoughts that come at your mind. Oh man, I don't know if I have it in me. I got to push so much harder to catch her. I don't know if I can do it. Like, it's easy for these thoughts, the negative thoughts, to start coming up. And that's worse than any of the obstacles that could possibly arise. Is the mental demons you got to fight in these situations. It's easy to start thinking of all the excuses you've had, right? Oh man, I've been so busy this week. I haven't been able to train the way I want.
Kris is closing the gap. It is down to 15 seconds. You know, we looked at it a while ago. It was about 36 seconds, and then it was 25 seconds, and now we're just sitting at 15.
Quick work of that. Look, what is that? 3 pulls on 4. Just made quick work of that.
-12-second.
Yeah, I didn't know you could just drop it like that. I like that you can do that. I never liked the rule in Spartan Race where you gotta slowly lower it down. I like being able to just drop it.
So I think it has to do with like, it's a logistics thing. So Savage Race has a chain. It's pretty low risk of it being destroyed from dropping it. So I think that's why they allowed it, versus at Savage Race it's a sandbag, and they don't want you to be breaking sandbags every week. Those things are expensive. So
yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah,
all right, 20-second obstacle, 28.
Just highlight.
Okay,
make sure
so we got
you know
6
the
more
rules.
obstacles to go. All right, so we're not at completely at the end
11.
as much as I thought we were.
Yeah, 10-11 second gap. Every time I gauge the gap, it's getting smaller.
But the cool thing about Kris and Alexandra Walker, they're not going to face those mental demons. They're so pros, and they've done this, and they've raced each other for so long that I don't think they're as vulnerable to those negative thoughts. Yeah, it definitely seems like Kris is picking up the pace a little bit.
Man, I really miss courses like this. So I'm returning from an ankle injury. I broke my ankle 4 months ago. I'm finally just now getting back to running and everything. I did my first trail run last weekend. So things are finally returning. So just like you said, Miles, having some FOMO just seeing this beautiful course. I'll be doing War X, which is in Ohio, not far from Zanesfield, next weekend. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the stories.
Hello.
That'll be really cool.
Can you guys hear me?
Guys, this is Ryan Kempson.
Hey, Ryan. Yes, we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Nice. What's up, Miles? What's up, Miranda?
How's it going, Ryan? Good to see you, man. How was the course out there? It seemed like you set a commanding lead and didn't let up.
Yeah, I made a little move, carry, gapped Jordan up, but he was right there. They're putting pressure on me the whole race. A little bit long, probably 20, 30 degrees warmer. It's a really fun course. We go obviously up and down the mountain. I think you can see it on screen right now with Kris. It's it's not just on the ski slopes. They put us through the woods, pretty technical. A lot of water, a lot of crawls. There we go. Now I'm on.
Yeah, now we can.
And really fun course.
Yeah, what kind of
cool.
pace did you guys get
favorite?
out going up the hill? Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda.
I don't know. Logan and Jordan went out way too fast. It's interesting. It's big enough to be a mountain course, but it's short enough where they're not so sustained that you can kind of hammer for a few minutes and get by with it and torch yourself. You kind of have to. You can't really take it slow, and then it's a very fast-paced mountain race. This would be a really, really, really fun course to race and watch, like as like end of the year championship with like a loaded field. It'd just be really back and forth because you come up. I think we went up the mountain twice, and then there's a mile and a half. There's a small section in the flat field, but it's flat through like kind of a bog, woods area. So it's a really good balance of everything on this course. It kind of keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I ran this race last year, and that I remember
Okay.
having that thought that there was a little bit of incline, there was some really flat runnable sections, and then they've got the obstacles kind of spread out in a really cool way. And I like how they have that gauntlet at the end where they've got quite a few kind of lined
Yeah,
up together. So super fun course,
yeah,
and it looks beautiful. Did you
it
see some of
is.
those rainbows?
I didn't too focused on my feet. Yeah, and the
That's probably fair.
climbs are they're they're it's good. They're quite steep enough where you get a lot of power hiking, like a little bit here and there, but it really is a course you have to run the whole time. So it doesn't slow down into like a slog. It's a very fast pace from start to finish.
Do you ever
Cool.
try
What
to?
was your
Is one of
favorite
your focuses
obstacle?
bombing? Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Miles.
No, you're okay. You go
My
ahead.
favorite obstacle, um, the carry and the barbed wire crawl. So the carry, we had to go uphill through a barbed wire crawl, and it was hard. It was probably, I don't know, a half mile, three-quarters of a mile. It's not heavy, but going through obstacles with a big log is it's an obstacle. It's challenging. It's new. It's fun. It challenges you in a little bit different way. And then, we had a lot of like crossing water, and the barbed wire crawl itself is like kind of what we saw years ago when obstacle racing first started, like very military style, where they like dig out trenches and there's mounds of mud, but there's a foot and a half of water that they pump into it. So you can't really see, like all of a sudden you're crawling and you fall down, like you submerge under the water. Um, so it's great, and I love what Lee's been doing with these courses. They're not like we don't have the hardest obstacles here, but they're challenging, they're unique, they make you think, and they're just little twists that keep us on the toes. And it's not standardized and straightforward, where it's like some other race series have gotten to a point where it's more of the track and field where you know what you're getting, you train exactly for something, you kind of know exactly who's going to do well to going into it. This has that variability of OCR of old, and I think why most of us fell in love with the sport. It's just more of a challenge than just showing up and running as fast as you can.
Yeah, we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about that crawl in the carry, and I always love that, something interesting to make it a
Mhm.
little bit more just to change it up. And yeah, I love what you hit on where it's not super standardized, it's changing, it's variable. To me, that's what makes obstacle
Mhm.
racing more exciting, getting into the unexpected.
Yeah,
Ryan, what do you
I
think?
think we can put it as simple as it's an obstacle course. I think we forget that, and the sport has to evolve at some point, because what was an obstacle to the entire field at one point isn't, at another point. And it's not just the quote unquote obstacles, the mechanical things, it's the terrain.
Oh, dang it.
It doesn't have to be ridiculously rugged, but it should challenge us from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, what do you think about the weight of the log? Would you like to see that log be heavier? That's kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would be a fun challenge. Today they were actually soaked in water, so they were probably a few pounds heavier, and you could kind of feel it. Um, I'm not sure, because it's heavy enough to feel it, but it's light enough that you can really run with it, which makes it kind of just as hard as if the weight was heavier. So I think it would be a good challenge. I actually, when I went into it today, I was thinking, like, I wonder if they would ever put two for the guys. That would be interesting. I'm not sure.
Ooh, that
It's
would.
I like I like the log how it is, or board timber. I think would be cool is if maybe they threw another sandbag, like a sandbag in at some point too, just something a little bit shorter and heavier to really put a true strength component into it. I think that would
Yeah,
be
that
interesting,
would
and I
be.
think it may actually change the race slightly.
Yeah, I kind of like that they don't do as many heavy carries. The interesting conversation we always have when you juxtapose Savage Race and Spartan Race.
Ooh,
Spartan Race seems to be more laborious tasks, right, and less obstacles like heavy carries,
sorry,
Hercules things
Miles.
like that.
Oh,
We've got Alex and Chris both on screen on the rig,
deal.
and they
Yeah.
both fell off at the same point. This is the battle for
Yeah,
first
so your
place.
hands
This
are
is the battle for the
your hands are
points.
really wet coming
Your
out
whole body's
of
wet from
Colossus,
Colossus.
whole
Yeah.
wet, and you get to that board, and it surprised me. Like you really have to kind of bear hug it to get through it.
Yeah.
So this will be interesting.
And I think
Especially.
a benefit you might have had is you
Oh
were the
wow.
first guy to get there. So by the time the ladies get there, all
Yeah.
of the men
Oh,
have
there
been
she goes
rubbing
down.
their whole wet shorts and everything all over it, which makes it even more slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what
That's
kind
a
of
really good
material is
point,
that?
Miranda.
What kind of
So it's
material is that
painted
board,
wood, but
Miranda?
it's duct tape on. So you see the top half that's silver. That's
Oh, I
duct tape.
see.
They're
That's
both
This
failing
is
the
amazing. Do you
rig.
think
exciting.
that gives it any kind of makes it easier? Oh my
No,
gosh, I can't
no.
believe it does.
It's
Makes it
just
slicker.
not. It's much more slick, and you just don't have the leverage. I think the key is, I've seen girls do it in the past, is almost like J hooking a rope. You have to find a way to squeeze and pinch your feet on the bottom of it, because the bottom's wood. But the problem is they're going
You're
from
back.
that bar to that's just a long reach. They got to stay higher.
Ooh, Alex is
Yeah, there
trying
you
to
go.
skip
See,
it. It looks like it's
Oh,
possible. Oh, she got it. I
Chris
think
might get it.
Alex is going to
Oh,
get
this
through.
will be. They're both going to get
Hold
through.
on.
This will be interesting because we have the. Oh
Oh,
no,
no,
yes. Chris
no.
is through.
it's over.
Alex is down.
Nice.
If you guys have
It
never
would have been
tried
Almost
neat.
had a
holding a
race.
PVC pipe while
Nice.
it's wet, try it at home. You'll see just how incredibly
Yeah.
difficult that
Hey, I'll
is.
let you guys want to jump on here? Yeah, they do. Hey, Ian Hosek wants to talk to you guys.
Hey, thanks so
Ryan, good
much,
talking
Ryan. It
to
was
you,
great
brother.
talking to you. Great race. Congratulations. All right,
All
so
right, Chris
Chris
makes it.
just a second. Chris just stepped over the line when she
Logan.
threw it and it stuck, but you cannot make that step over the line.
See yourself doing it. Let's go.
To
Are
reset.
they bringing her back?
They did make her
Nice.
redo it. Yeah. Hey, Ian. Welcome.
Okay.
Congratulations
Hey
on the
guys.
race
Hey Miranda.
today.
Hey Miles.
Hey,
Thank
how's it
you. It was
going, Logan
fun.
and Ian?
Almost. Joe and I had a nice battle with Logan as well, who's here.
Oh
Wasn't
yeah,
that
we
much of a
were all
battle.
fighting for third.
Yeah. Now
Yeah, it was a fun
you
race. He
battled
got me
hard
on the
for this
rig.
today, Ian.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Did
making
you?
progress. 7th, 6th, 4th.
Yeah,
That's what I
nice.
figured. I know this is better than the first two races and whatnot, man. And this is
Yeah.
you're
Moving on
from
up. It
the
takes
mountainous
time.
area, right?
Yes. I would have loved the mountain to be like twice what I can get.
Oh, it's breaking up.
You're a
It's
Like,
little
is that
breaking up a
choppy.
Chris
little
Can you
bit.
going
repeat
through?
that? That is
Yep.
Chris going through twist and shout.
I would love the mountain to be about as 3 times as long, but that's okay. I'm happy to come out here, and it was fun to have some elevation.
Yeah. There we've got
Wow.
Chris, our champion.
Oh my
So yeah, you
gosh.
said
Oh,
your
is
placement
Alex failed
changed at the
again?
rig. Chris and Alex came into the rig together. Or Alex actually had a small lead, and then she had to retry, and they both had to retry multiple times. And then they made it to the same point, and Chris got through, and Alex just fell one more time. But we still don't have third place there yet, so Alex still has a second place up for grabs.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's that wooden post with the duct tape on it, and the way I eventually got through is you just gotta squeeze it right between your legs and really
Yep.
grip it, because the duct tape you're pretty wet from the slide right before it. Here she goes.
Let's
see if she can get it. Both legs.
Yeah, the ladies,
yeah, if she
the
can
way that
skip
they
that.
did it first time is they skipped it. Yeah, they're trying to go to that hand.
There you go, Alex. Man, she battled.
I tried that,
This
and
is
I think if you want to skip it, you have to hold the rope and the bar and use the actual wooden post. You got to skip a little bit further.
Yeah.
this is hard to watch. We love Alexandra Walker, and she fought so hard, led it from beginning to end, only to
Yeah,
get
she
stuck on the
did.
third
Yeah, I
to
think I hit
last
heart rate faster than I
obstacle.
raced.
The finish line is in sight.
I
Oh,
think
man,
what
Yeah.
that's
probably
rough.
hurts for her is this is kind of what happened at the last series race too, is she started with a lead and then thanks Ian. Congratulations.
Ian, thanks, man.
Yeah, she started with
Logan,
that
here at
lead the whole
home.
race and then same thing.
Logan, how's it feel running in your home state here, man? Your backyard,
Oh man, you know
defending your backyard. How was it?
I love me some Ohio races. This is one of the first OCRs that I've done. I did a Spartan Stadium race down in Tampa earlier this year, but then I had pneumonia. It lasted about 2 months. I just came off antibiotics, so I'm bouncing back, but feel pretty good about the race today, given the circumstances for sure. I couldn't miss an Ohio race, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got out blazing fast at that. How fast were you run? What was your pace running up? It was absolutely blazing fast.
You know, gosh, it didn't feel as fast as maybe it looked on camera. I figured everybody was with me. I didn't really look backwards, but I hope, I'm going to go back to tape and see if I went out a little too fast, which, some people never learn their lessons, and I'm one of those people. But
Me too.
but yeah, I tend to like running hills. Even being from Ohio, I tend to enjoy some of the hillier races. Come on, Alex. Sorry, I'm watching this race while you guys are
This is
too.
Kaci Monroe. This is an interesting strategy.
This is
She's got
Kaci?
the chicken wing. Yep, that's Kaci. There's Alex there. So Alex has retried quite a few times
Come on.
now, which just makes it rough on your grip. Come on. Yeah.
And Casey's through. Wow.
Kaci made it.
Wow.
She's going to claim that
You know
second
what?
place
You see
spot.
this year after year. Year after year in Ohio Savage in particular.
Yes.
You see folks, remember the Swiss cheese obstacle a couple years ago?
With
Same
Lindsay
deal,
Webster?
right?
I do. Yeah.
I think Amy Patrick came through, pretty late after the, there she goes, pretty late after some of the lead women and took a podium spot.
She did.
Logan,
that
we're
race
gonna
that
need you
you're
to throw
talking
a
about, I
boomerang.
remember. Amy won that one.
We
were
need
starting
Logan
to
That's right.
question. Yeah. Yeah.
Tie a rope to the boomerang.
We
throw
need
it
a boomerang
to
obstacle
the
out
handlebar
here.
of
I've been telling
Alexandra Walker, yeah.
them we need a boomerang obstacle for years, but nobody seems to listen.
You can carry one in your back pocket, and then when somebody's ahead of you on the rig, just like throw it.
I know. I needed one to catch Ian today. That's what I needed. I just needed to take him out with a boomerang, halfway up the hill. Sorry, buddy.
Now we have
This one was
battle
interesting for sure.
second place right here. Kaci Monroe and Jamie Horianopoulos, and they are like neck and neck.
That's the
but
finish
Casey's
right
gonna
there.
take
Here
it.
she goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. Second place finish for Kaci Monroe. That is excellent. Congratulations.
Wow, what a
Yeah, she looks
absolute
excited
mix-up.
too.
Yeah, I bet.
That mixed things
I can
up.
see the finish from right here.
And here we have Jamie claiming third. So what's interesting is we were talking about the race and the point series, right? So this finish for Jamie is going to make a difference in the series because now she might be able to catch Alex, especially if Alex has to sit at that rig for a couple more placements. She's only a few points ahead. So that is going to make a difference. Let's see the gap. Alex is sitting at 297 as Jamie is at 294. So they're only 3 points away from each other. So if 3 more women finish before Alex does, Jamie will claim that second point spot in the series.
Yeah,
which is a real possibility given. Yeah, when you drop from that rig, right, especially when you're making it 3/4 of the way across and dropping, at some point you got to wait longer and longer to get back on. So, hopefully she's, got dry hands and, taking enough of a break.
Yeah,
to get
because that
there.
grip is
Finding a
just
dry
gonna get
lane.
more and more worn out. And she's already tried at least 10 times.
Yeah, and
Logan,
we're
have
going
you
But
right
ever
off of the
hopefully the next
slide.
one. Yeah.
Hmm.
have you ever got
We're
stuck
going
on an
from the water
obstacle,
to this
Logan?
obstacle. Say that again. I'm sorry, Miles.
Have you ever been stuck on an obstacle?
Not really. No. I tend to take a little bit longer on some of the strength obstacles or anything where body weight has something to do with it. Saw a little bit of that today too. Yeah, Ian was passing me on some of the heavier obstacles for sure. But I'm trying to think of a time where I've been stuck on a rig or anything. Never early season. Nice job, Kempson. Good job, buddy. All right, I'll see you in a bit. I'll
Yeah.
give you a call. Sorry.
Yeah.
Logan, what was
Yeah, no, it's
your
okay.
thought on sling ring today?
Oh,
Did
sling
either of you
ring.
try it?
Nice.
There's Alex
No,
made
I
it
think I
through.
got it.
Yeah,
There she
right. Go,
goes.
Alex.
All right. This one was tricky for me for sure. The tire was all wet. Wow.
Her grip is worn
Yeah,
out
she
at
does
this
here.
point too.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were
You
gonna
can.
send her back for that. They
Yeah,
sent
I thought they would
Kris
too.
back earlier.
Yeah, they. Yeah, I don't know if they said anything,
I'm
but
not sure if there was an obstacle attendant there to tell her to go back. So
right,
it's kind
exactly.
of
It
out
looked
of her
pretty legit. I
control.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, she's
You have to
good.
go back and look at it in slow motion, whether or not the foot crossed over before it made the contact and everything. Go to the rule book and
Yeah, I
actually
think
really look closely at the words.
it looked like the tire was released by the time she, kind of leaned over. So I think I'd give it to her for sure. Here she comes.
Yep. Going back to
Right.
what we were talking about the mental demons, because this is a point series, even though she's at a podium contention at that point, you still can't just give up. Some people, hey
Right.
man, once they're at a podium contention, they want to walk off. But she knows that every point is valuable, and just you have to fight off those negative thoughts and get over it. And she did. I know Alexander
That's what's
Walker,
awesome
how
about the series. Yeah.
Yeah.
she's
Sorry, go ahead,
super
Miles.
competitive. No, it's okay. She's super competitive, and she will be thinking about this all week, man. This will
Yeah.
definitely eat away at her. But what an amazing performance all the way up to the very end, man. She had a fantastic lead the whole time.
Yeah, I was wondering with how challenging it was, the fact that Kris and Alex had to retry a few times. I was wondering if the other ladies were going to have difficulty. But it might have been that, when you come to an obstacle and you are redlined, it makes it harder. So Kris and Alex might have just been, in a deeper hole than the other ladies when they got there. So it's just a little bit harder for them to get through it. So once Alex was able to kind of calm down her heart rate, maybe give her a few seconds to a couple minutes between her next attempt, then she was finally able to make it through. So sometimes that can make a big difference, which is what makes obstacle racing so fun, is that you do have that heart rate variability is going to play a big role in the obstacle. Um, yeah, so fun to see.
Yeah, and so Logan, we haven't seen you in any of the other points series here for Savage, right? Right. This is the first one of the year for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is first one of the year,
Do you
so
wanna
I'm gonna
follow
miss.
it?
Well, I'm gonna miss out on the series just given because I missed the first couple. I was at American Ninja Warrior competing in LA for one of them, and then something else during the other. I can't even think of what it was, but so may not be able to focus on the series, but maybe it's a Boston Marathon or something the weekend of the other race. But I'll still be coming out. I may make Chicago. I may make Maryland. Yeah, we'll see. Even if I'm not in contention for the series, I still like to get out and compete and have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push these guys a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
And every race matters. Every race matters for these guys. Just like you were saying, Miranda, right? You can't let off the gas if you're not on the podium. You got to keep pushing because those points matter, especially if you're planning to to hit the qualification for the series.
Yeah. So the next
What's
in the series
I
what's
love
we got
next
is
this.
on your
Chicago.
calendar?
Yeah.
What's next on your calendar as far as races? And are you going to OCR Worlds?
You know what? I want to get to OCR Worlds. It's the same weekend as the Chicago Marathon, so I'm gonna have a tough decision to make. But yeah, you'll see me at a bunch of other races. I got to put the calendar out there and figure it out. It just depends on what weekends are open, and not focusing on any specific series, but I do want to make more Savage races just because these tend to be the most fun. So yeah, it's a good time. But hey, I got Kris over here, so I might let her take the mic real quick.
Yeah,
Hold on.
that'd
How
be
about we
great.
take a
Thanks
vote,
for
Jump in?
joining
Logan?
us, Logan.
Logan, how
Yeah.
about we take a quick vote? The marathon or OCR World Championships? All in favor of OCR World Championships? All in favor
Uh,
of marathon?
the eyes have
Yeah,
it.
it's
The eyes have
one-sided.
it.
Yeah, the eyes have it.
The eyes have it by unanimous consent. By unanimous consent. All right, I'll see you guys at OCR
Unbiased.
Worlds.
See you,
Hey,
Logan.
hopefully I
Thanks
can
for
get in
joining
shape
us.
by then. All right, guys. See you soon.
See you, bud.
All right.
All right, the
Hey,
incomparable
sis.
Kris Rugloski. How you doing?
Made it. Pretty good.
So, what was the strategy? You were behind. You were kind of closing the gap little by little on Alexandra up to those last obstacles. Was that part of your strategy all along? What was your strategy? How are you doing that?
More or less. I always plan to like the obstacles are kind of my thing, so I definitely I don't stress a whole lot. If I'm running behind, especially as long as I can keep the person in front of me like within sight. I know that like I'll make up time on the obstacles, and so I kind of conserve a little bit of energy for that, but also just like I'm not going to kill myself on the running, knowing that I can catch up, having a little more fun on the obstacles. That's kind of the general plan.
Yeah, we kind of
And
talked
you
about
tell
that a little bit. It looked like you kind of let Alex have her own race and you kind of ran your own race with that expectation that you'd kind of run a little harder at the end, versus I think Alex's plan might have been to try to make as big of a gap as possible, to try to hope to not give you that benefit of the obstacles at the end, right? If there's a big enough gap. But
Right.
how did
Which
you
I think
feel
is
about
smart.
that final? Yeah, you guys have different strengths, so that's a good way to play it. But what did you think about that final rig? How did you feel about that, having to retry? Were you feeling nervous?
It was tough. I think it wasn't a very complicated obstacle, but coming fresh out of the water, that was like we're fresh out of water, so everything's very slick and wet. And there were just enough moments where it's like, oh, you had to really high enough up on the rope and the bars to be able to make it to that bell. So yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. I like that it's a little more challenging, or at least like placed in a challenging spot to where it took a few tries. Like that to me, I mean, I love to get it first try, but if I have to try it several times, to me, that's a good rig. Then if it's challenging, the people that are supposed to be good at these, I guess.
Yeah, to me, there's something more satisfying about having to retry it and then getting it right. That factor of like, ooh, am I going to be able to get this? And it's when you get every obstacle first try in an obstacle race, to me, that almost takes away some of the enjoyment of giving yourself a challenge. So I love seeing that they
For sure.
finally added a little harder rig in the series, because last year my biggest disappointment was the ease of the rigs. So I'm glad to see that they've added give and take. They've added that sling ring, or the one where you traverse down the kind of slide with your hands to the ladder. I love that they've added some obstacles like that. It's really exciting to me. And how exciting was that finish today for us as viewers to see it come down to the rig? That's what I want to see
Yeah.
when I watch obstacle racing. So yeah, that was super fun. How are you feeling fitness wise? I keep seeing you on Facebook. It sounds like you maybe took some time off for off season, but now you're like getting back into training, feeling better. I saw you said you've got a lot less tape on you this time. So how's everything going with your season?
Yeah, I'm feeling fantastic. Last year I was throwing a lot of hundreds in, and that definitely took a little bit of wear and tear on my body. So I'm not dealing with that this year. The one thing I had earlier this year, I had several different ankle issues, so that's been kind of a ongoing thing. But thankfully, it looks like I'm past all of that and just ready to race. Yeah, my season's going great, and it's going to be a lot more chill this year, and I'm looking forward to just being able to enjoy all of it instead of trying to tape my body together by the end of the year. So
Yeah.
Chill for Kris Rugloski is everyone else is chill. It's like
Yeah.
I'll do a few less 100-milers and maybe not go for a world championship, or maybe I will back to back. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
Something
what
like
are
that.
some key things that you're doing this year, or are you doing, obviously last year, I think you did a lot of hundreds in preparation for World's Toughest, I think is what I read. So this year, are you just throwing in some that you want to do for fun or maybe as milestone races, or kind of what is your race calendar plan for the rest of the year? Some highlights.
Yeah, the goal is always a couple hundreds just because I enjoy them and I want to do them. Last year I ended up doing a series that I like had to do all within a summer. So it wasn't necessarily prep for anything. It just happened to be the year that like I got into all of these races. This year I'm just doing, I think, only 200s. The goal is to eventually do them in every state. So I'm kind of slowly working away at that. But
Okay.
other than that, I mean, I guess the biggest things I'm doing is more consistent, like, last year, I kind of took the summer off of fitness and just played in the mountains for the summer. And this year, I'm planning to stay a bit more consistent on the fitness side of, like the strength side of things, I guess. And hopefully that'll help my body hold together better and just be more durable overall. So I'd say that's kind of the biggest change is I just happen to be doing less hundreds and planning to stay a bit stronger than I did last year.
Cool. Are you going to make it out
That's
to
awesome.
OCR World Championship this year?
There's a possibility. I have not decided yet. There hasn't been a lot of information out on it yet, so that's kind of what I'm waiting on.
I love
makes
that about you, Kris, that you've always kind of gone where your heart leads you. It's not all about a specific competitive goal. It's about, hey, you also want to have fun and enjoy life, and then be the best at whatever you attempt. And it's a nice line to strike. Otherwise, it can seem like work and take away from the joy, right?
Right, that's the goal. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, any last minute things you want to say?
I mean, thank you, Savage. I was thinking about that as I was running. I was like, I never ran this Ohio course until they made it part of the series. So I guess thank you, Savage, for putting on an awesome series and for, getting more people out to these different venues. I mean, it's a really neat venue and it's really cool to be here. So, thanks, Savage, for another great race. And yeah, definitely fun. All right, we've got some others here. Do you want to? Yeah.
Okay, good to see you, Kris.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Kris. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Here we go. We got some ladies on the rig. So from the Pro Wave. So there is a time limit for everyone to know. You can attempt this as many times, but what would you say? Usually around 2 p.m., Miranda? That's normally the cutoff time?
I think it's either like a 2 or a 3 hour time cutoff from the start of the men's Pro Wave. So we're not too close yet. Hey, Kaci, welcome and congratulations. Second place finish at a SavagePro Series. How are you feeling about that?
Pretty stoked. This is only my third race and second completed, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and that was a tough rig. Did you get that on your first try?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I saw Alex was there, and I was like, I have to make it on my first one. I don't think I could do multiple attempts because my arms were pretty tired. So I had a lot of adrenaline, I think.
You started chicken winging it, which had me a little nervous because later on you have those straight pipes and everything, and you can't really chicken wing those. So I was happy to see that you were able to get through, even though it looked like your grip was tired.
I've learned that chicken winging puts you up much higher too. So you start higher with chicken winging. Might not be the prettiest. Little advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
how did you feel about this?
Of that, right? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. How did you feel about this course? And your running?
I love mountains. Mountains are my jam. So I came in knowing that I had maybe a little bit of advantage running uphill and downhills instead of just the flats. So I was hoping I could put a little lead on some of the girls with that.
Are you an Ohio native, right, Kaci?
No, Montana.
Montana, okay, that's what it was. I couldn't remember. You got to forgive me. I know I did a while ago, and I totally forgot.
That's okay. I'm from the mountains.
Yeah.
Are you going to be completing in the in the whole Savage series?
Yes, I'm gonna attempt to finish it out now. And then
Nice try, ladies. Nice
DNF'd
try.
on a rig in Florida, and so I have to complete all the rest, I think, to be in the series.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Chicago, then
Battle for
Dallas,
the
and
top
then the
10.
final in Central Florida. And that one in Central Florida
Yes.
is mandatory.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Yeah,
What other
so
races
how
do you
have
have on
you
your
been?
calendar?
Sorry, what was that?
What other races do you have on your calendar? And then Miles, you can get the next question. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. There's a bit of a delay.
Kind of up in the air, racing wise. I have a 50K, the Rut in Montana, I'm doing in September. Not really sure I'll hit the next Savage race in Chicago, and then I'm not sure. I've kind of dropped back from the Spartan races this year just because there's no series other than the 3K in that one. So I'm just playing it by ear this year, but I do have a 50K mountain race on my schedule later on in the summer.
Cool.
Use the adrenaline. Let's go.
All right, Miles, your turn.
Battle for the top 10, ladies.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was giving some feedback, so I got to get the mic a little closer to my mouth. How have you been? How have you been training for this? Is this your first experience with Savage Race? Because you've been doing OCR for a few years now, Kaci.
You're doing great.
How did you start training for Savage Race, and what got you hooked?
Definitely not obstacles. I think that first race I did in Florida was an eye-opener of just how much harder the rigs are. It's just the grip strength for Savage versus Spartan. Spartan's really standardized, so there's once you got the technique down, I don't know, you don't have to focus too much more on the new things. And so I like Savage because it's so different and challenging. So I've really been trying to work on my home rig and just grip strength in general.
Right here. Right here. Just look. Just look. You got it.
Rep it.
Yeah, that's the age-old debate we have in OCR, right? Mandatory completion against penalties, and it looks like you've
Right.
kind of joined our side. I tend to agree with mandatory completion. I like mandatory completion.
I like
There's good
mandatory
arguments for
completion.
both.
I think it definitely adds a different component. And I like that it's not just a running rate, like it is running, but if you fail, you still have to complete it. So should I tell him to wrap it up? Okay, he's saying to wrap it up.
Okay, no
All right.
problem. No, great talking to you, Kaci.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Kaci.
Nice.
All right, she made it through. We saw Rachel Corigliano almost made it through. She missed the bell by this much. It was so close. She had almost made it through. So maybe this is the 5th or 6th place woman.
I was
I
fourth.
can't quite tell who that is. Is it? No, because Rachel
Hey,
Waters
Alex.
already came through, and Alex. Hey, the
So,
pride of Texas.
Hello.
man, that must have been a rough finish. You led the race the entire time until the last 100 meters. And I know that happened to you in the last series as well. Luckily, you still have a couple more opportunities. But tell us about your feelings a little bit about how you felt about that rig and how all that kind of went down.
I mean, yeah, it's not fun, but I ran a really awesome race and I climbed really well and I did everything that I wanted to do except for getting through the rig on the first try. But try number 7 was a charm.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Your running looked really strong. You've clearly been putting in the work. And I feel like had your heart rate just been a little lower getting into the rig, you would have gotten it first try. I mean, obviously you got through it, so you have that proficiency. You're able to do it. So I really hope that you're able to maintain that lead for the next couple races. And that
It's
should
not
help
really a heart rate thing because like heart rate wasn't the problem. It was that it was so wet and soaked from like us coming out of so once my body dried off after a while, I was able to get on everything and grab stuff, but I just was sliding off because I was soaking wet.
So we were
Yeah,
kind of
we
talking
had
about
everybody
the
talked
mental
about that.
the mental aspect of Alex as you led the whole way. you've got to try so hard to keep off negative thoughts, falling off the first time, and knowing the other women are coming behind you. How do you mentally not let those negative those negative thoughts affect you? Or do they? Do they get in your head? How do you do that?
No, I mean, I'm here to have fun, and usually race day is there to show off all the hard work you've done. So to me, I was just like, you know what, I'll sit and keep trying, and at some point my body will get through it. And if it takes, I've sat at a rig for 6 hours before in my life, so I'm not scared to have to sit there for 6 hours if I needed to.
Yeah, we got a rig.
It is what it is. I had fun.
Well, you did absolutely amazing. You were trying to send a message today, and letting the ladies know I think that, and I'm taking the points.
Yeah, I definitely want it, and there's a couple more races to go, and I'm just going to keep having fun going back and forth with Kris.
Yep. So what's better to grip on this board? Is it the duct tape section or the painted wood?
It's having to transition, moving the poles out of your way. So like when you got from the pole to the board, and then you have to move the board out of your body's way to get to the ring that Rachel's on. It's hard to turn your body through it. So that's what made it difficult. But I was able to swing from the triangle ring thing to the bell, so that's probably the best option. Like if I was Rachel, that's what I would do.
It looked like she might have been considering that at the very end, skipping that final thing.
Yeah, like it's definitely possible to do it. I missed it with my foot and then barely hit it with my fingers, which surprised me. But it's the transitions of moving the poles out of your way to get to the next option.
Yeah,
is what makes it hard. So,
what was your favorite
it's a fun rig
today?
Obstacles, it was more the climbing. Like I love being in the mountains, so I had so much fun like going up the first couple climbs, and then I actually had fun in the flat area too, like looking down at my watch and seeing like low sixes. I was like, oh, we're flying. So it was fun. It was more the course itself, not so much the obstacles. Oh, the carry was legit. Like that was the longest, most fun Savage carry I've ever done. They are stepping it up this year with the carries and adding like implements, but it was just fun to keep going up, and then have to fly down it with the.
Yeah, I love your technique.
About that a little bit. The carry was long. We mentioned that, and you kind of hit on. Miles keeps asking if people think they should make it heavier, but I feel like they can make it difficult by adding elements like you talked about. They add an obstacle in the middle, or they make it long, things like that. It's not a gimme. Even though it's a light carry, it's long, it's kind of awkward. To me, it kind of hurts my collarbones on my shoulders, so I feel like it's challenging in its own way. So yeah, I
agree with that. Like the thing with the carry for Savage is you actually are able to move quite quick with it, and that is what makes it difficult. While if you had 60 to 50 pounds on you, there's only so much speed you can really move. It's more of a grind. While with Savage, it's more of you could actually on the flats run pretty quick with it, which makes its own difficulty, I think. So you don't ever get to bring that heart rate down during it.
That can make a big difference in the different athletes if somebody feels comfortable running with a carry versus if they don't. So I tend to lose ground actually on the Savage carry because I'm really bad at running with something on my shoulder like that. I think I don't practice that enough. So I think that can make a huge time differential there. People can make up time if they're good at carries. Like you said, if you're running versus walking, that's going to make a big difference.
Yes, I agree. I think that's what makes Savage different. Like I used to think the same thing as Miles, like, oh, if they made it heavier, a little similar to OCR World Championship, but the more I've done them, the more that it has its own difficulty having to move even with it on your back, and you get to move really fast makes it hard. And yes, adding that, like the last two races, it was the cinder block one that you had to pull, and then this one, like actually pushing it through the barbed wire was difficult because you have to figure out how you want to do it. Do you want to push forward? Do you want to pull it? What do you want to do?
Was it more difficult taking it through the water? I know in what is it in Georgia? I believe you had to take the log through the water.
Um, Yes and no. It was just different in the sense that like you just had to jump down in the water and just walk with it. I think it's more difficult to have to get down and crawl because you're having to use other muscles when you do that. Or like with the cinder block one, it was, do you want to carry it and the cinder block with you? Like there was like a trick to it. Like if you left it, you have to run back and get it. But if you carried it with you across, you save time. So it's almost like a puzzle of where you can gain time. People.
Yeah, that makes sense. You see the one lady hanging on the implement there. True test of your adductor muscles.
She's got
Usually
a
when
firm
you're at a
grasp
dead
with her
standstill.
legs down there.
Yeah, but usually when you're at a dead standstill like that, you're dead in the water. If you don't have any kind of momentum to reach that note, it's kind of like what I like that Alexander Walker was doing, is that when you would grab the implement, you're trying to pass. You're trying to pass the PVC pipe or the wood and grab that next implement by pulling back on that last hold and creating that momentum. I was saying earlier, that's really
It's
smart.
definitely a rig that you have to keep moving with momentum. Like you cannot stand still with it. There goes that girl. Oh, she's got it. Yeah.
Go, young lady. Oh, looks like she wasn't racing. She just wanted to try it. There's future of the sport right there.
She might be an open waiver, and it looks like they're waiting for a part of their party to come through.
Oh, yeah.
So always impressive to see these young open wave athletes getting through the rig that, you know, a lot of the elites are struggling on. I love that.
Rachel going again?
It is. I hope she gets
she's not going to give up. Yeah, we're all big fans of Rachel. We want to see her get through it.
Yeah. Sometimes this happens where she's got to retry something, but I feel like she almost always gets through eventually, even if she gets stuck. So I think she's going to get it.
I'm going to hand y'all over to Jamie.
Okay,
right.
Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Good seeing
Congratulations. Great race.
Bye.
Awesome effort.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Happy I survived. I don't have all this quote elevation to work with in Florida, so I was like, this is going to be tough for me. So I'm just excited.
Miles and I are both from Texas, so we're similar where we don't really have a whole lot of hills to train on here.
Yeah.
Well, I also lived in Florida. I lived all over Florida. I still have a 407 area code. Jamie, what part of Florida are you from? Yeah.
Newport Richey, so I'm a little bit north of Tampa on the Gulf side. Still flat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, still flat. So beautiful runs, though. Yeah, you're one of the few athletes I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, so I'm hoping to meet you in person one of these days. But what an amazing job. What was that feeling coming into the rig and seeing that now podium was in within reach? What was going through your mind?
You just gotta go. Don't even just do it. You really can't think about it too much at that point. So if you overthink something, then you might make a little mistake or question your ability. And like, I know I don't normally have too much trouble with rigs, but I knew that it was also, especially if, you know, Alex is having trouble, and, you know, I knew I had my work cut out for me, but I was like, I just can't think. I got to do it. So luckily,
did you realize
fall
coming
off.
out of the rig that you were sitting in fourth and Kaci was right in front of you?
Well, as I was trying not to drown coming out of Colossus, I was told that there was still a podium spot open. So it's like, oh crap, I still have to push, which I try to anyway, but I had to push a little more. So I knew there was the possibility. So I just wasn't sure exactly how much space I had between where I was and where the finish was. So I just knew I had to go, and I had to, so.
Yeah, so you ready for the next race? And we got to see how this is going to affect your points. I think this puts you up into second place in the point series, does it not?
She's going to maintain third, but she will have closed the gap. So you will be closer to Alex than you were previously.
Okay, well, I still have work to do, so
still planning to do all the races in case I, have a race or two that I gotta just drop. Hopefully, I'll still be able to kind of maintain where I'm at or do a little better. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am looking forward to a race that's slightly more flat than this one. So.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
kind of
so I
talking about
think all
earlier.
the
That's kind of nice thing about
races, all the
Savage Race,
remaining
right?
will
Is that
be
they make it
flatter.
flatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've raced almost all of the venues, so I think that the venues that will be next will be pretty good, and I'll be able to do a little bit better. Hopefully, I can try to close that gap a little bit. I know there was kind of a big gap today, so still working hard, still trying to just maintain or improve my position over the next few races and see where it goes.
Yeah. I hope that you do better in the upcoming races. I think, like you pointed out, this race was hillier, so I think the gap was being caused by that. So I think that hopefully you'll
Yeah.
be able to be a little bit closer on Kris and Alex in the next couple.
Yeah, I feel like Gainesville, I was a lot closer than anything. I mean, that's pretty flat. I mean, a little slightly hilly, if you want to call it that, for Florida, but I definitely had a better gap, closer gap there. So hopefully I'll keep continuing to close it. And, I would love to be able to get a better position in the points series. My goal was to really do better than I did last season. So far, so good. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Did you finish 4th last year?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. So you've moved up to that 3rd place spot. If they keep having hard rigs, you never know what that can do for the series.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's funny that rig was kind of deceiving because we were looking at it and we thought this doesn't look overly complicated, but man, it's a lot more slippery than you realize, especially coming out of, being in the water and you're soaking wet and then having to do it. So
Yeah.
that wood with the duct tape is pretty slick.
Yeah.
That seems to be the one that's getting most people.
Yeah.
That is,
And
and you'll notice every single year, Savage Race brings in a new implement that throws it, whether it be the cheese board or laches. Now it's this wooden board with the duct tape. And it's really cool how they innovate that, and everyone has to adapt, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one thing that I really like about Savage is they're always trying to switch up the rigs and make it a little more complicated. And then even something like, we're going to take give and take and have it go up a hill instead of, flat, that can throw things off. So, yeah, they're always trying to kind of tweak things and make it a little more difficult.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you very much for your time, Jamie. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to pull up some of the finishes. And congratulations on your finish, and we look forward to seeing you close out the rest of the series.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you guys. Take care.
Wonderful meeting you. Miranda, so there we have it. We got our top finishers.
That was
What a race.
Great race. We are going to take a look at our finishing times for today's Ohio race. So we got our men's top 10, Ryan Kempson coming in at 52:59, which is pretty impressive, with a 6-mile mountain course. Wow. Jordan McDougall in 2nd, Joseph Cotto in 3rd. That's going to be really great for Joseph for the point series. Right now he's sitting in 2nd, so he'll be able to maintain that position. Ian Hosek is going to have 3 races under his belt now, so he'll be able to move up on that top 10 leaderboard for the series. We have Logan Broadbent, Ken Corigliano. Ken was here. We didn't see him that I remember, but it looks like he had a great finish in 6th place.
He's always known for sneaking right in there, right? I don't know how we didn't see him. How in the world did we not see him through all that video? He always sneaks in last minute and then still shows up and shows out. That's awesome.
Always.
Yeah, but look at those. All these men are so fast. Look at the gap between these guys, and they're all so fast. Ryan can have a minute 35 lead. That's amazing. It's going to take something.
Yeah.
It's going to take quite something else to outrun him.
For sure. So yeah, strong finish from all these guys. We've got Noah, Kevin, Marquez all making it into that top 10. So all great finishes for them. And now if we can pull up the ladies, we'll take a look at those top 10. We've got Kris, obviously at the top of the list at a time of 103, with Kaci Monroe coming behind in second place, Jamie Horianopoulos in third, Alex Walker in fourth, Rachel Waters with a fifth place finish. I'm happy to see that. She's also sitting in fifth in the point series, so that's going to be good for her. Got Michelle, Sarah Grippy Snyder. I didn't see her name on the registration list. I think she's sitting in sixth for the series. Heather, Christina, and Savannah. So all great finishes from these ladies. And you can see that time differential here is a little bit different, very likely being driven by the rig.
Yeah, imagine how much different that could have went. Look at it. There's about a 20-second gap between second and third place. Jamie and Horianopoulos, like that could have went completely different. That means when the ladies would have had to fail the rig one time, and then the placement could have totally changed. So it just goes to show you the mandatory completion race and Savage race. You never know what's going to happen until it's over, man. It keeps you on the edge of your toes, the edge of your seat, and man, what an absolute race. And we'll see what turns out, and hopefully there's not one of those wet obstacles.
All right, we have a Maryland Savage. All right, we're going to change that up. We have a Father's Day Savage race code valid through tomorrow. We're going to pull that up here in just a moment. So go ahead, any of those dad OCR fans like Miles in your life, get them a Savage race code for Father's Day. I know all of my OCR dad friends would love that. So we're going to get that up in just a second for y'all.
And we'll have it pulled up in a little while. But it's really cool. Savage Race has a lot of cool deals. It's not too, for anyone who hasn't tried an obstacle course race or Savage Race, crazy expensive. It's a real decent price. It's an absolutely fantastic time. You know, if you've never done one of these, it's about getting out of your comfort zone. I know one of the with the original Tough Mudder gentleman, I'm drawing a blank on him. He says, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?" Right? It's about getting out of your comfort zone. That's where you grow. So yeah, Sean Corvell. Yeah, that's right, Corvell. He's a legend in the Tough Mudder scene. So you know, it's the quintessential kind of fundamental ethos that we have in OCR about getting out of your comfort zone and growing, right? So come sign up for these races. It doesn't matter size, shape, color, background, whatever your situation is, come out and show out these races. And I'm sorry, we missed the discount code there.
So here is the races for the series for the Savage Pro point series. So we have completed 4 out of 7. So this is the next 5. This is a 5 race 6. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've done Georgia, Gainesville, Maryland, Ohio. The next 2 races are July 8th in Chicago, October 7th in Dallas, where Miles and I should both be in attendance. And then the final race is November 11th in Florida for the fall event there. So be sure to check them out. We had that BOGO deal pop up a second ago. So be sure to go check out that discount code. I want to give a huge shout out to Savage Race. Thank you very much for coordinating this and, you know, having your Gators chasing the Pro Wave. We always appreciate your events, how you put them on, how you organize it, your customer service. Savage is really just top notch. So thank you guys. Thank you to the OCR Report. Live coverage wouldn't be possible without them. Make sure to go check out their subscription so that you can help more live coverage in the future. You can become an OCR Report member for just as little as $5. So go check that out. Thank you to our rabbits. They did a fantastic job. Those people are running fast out there, so they've got to be going really quick to keep up with them. Our rabbits were James Stengel, Korea Smirk, Shan Howell, Rachel Hunt,
Corey.
and Jessica. I think you say Poppy is her last name. So yeah, thank you to everybody out there. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you, Miles, for having us. Thank you to our
Miranda.
producer, Jason Dupree,
Jason.
our man behind the scenes. He does an amazing job, and he does a lot, and he cares a lot. So thank you to everybody. See y'all next